Our next speaker, as in the previous events, is our keynote speaker. He will be addressing the title of this year's event, Catholic Concerns, AI Domination, Global Depression, World War III. He is the author of the 11-volume series against the Second Vatican Council, which you can read about on those posters over there. He is also the editor of our website, traditioninaction.org, which continues to present a wealth of knowledge and good information guiding and instructing counter-revolutionary Catholics in these chaotic times. Thanks to Our Lady, the Tradition in Action website has posted one new item every day for the last 23 years. Ladies and gentlemen, it is truly an honor to introduce to you Mr. Atila Guimaraes.
Most Reverend Father Gregory Hux, that honors here with your presence. Most Reverend Father Alex Navarro, that came from Texas here to illustrate our meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, friends of the Counter-Revolution, it's a joy for us to have you here under the protection of Our Lady, and in this feast day of her queenship. And then the inspiration of Professor Plínio Corrêa de Oliveira that gave us the principles of the Counter-Revolution that bring us together here. The topic of this evening or this afternoon is so vast that it's not possible to encompass in just, let's say, 35 or 40 minutes. That is the time that I have here. So I selected to analyze more in depth the AI dominance and say just a fast word or a quick word in the end about the two other topics to give you an idea. So the AI domination, I believe that we are being prepared, the revolution is preparing us to accept the AI with all its consequences through the internet. So I will analyze first the advantages that they present to us in the internet and the AI, and afterwards I will analyze the disadvantage and reaching a conclusion. So this is my program here today. I am analyzing this under a perspective that is not very common, because I will try to prove, or at least try to raise the suspicion, that both the internet and the AI, they have the goal, the revolution have the goal, to bring us to a kind of mockery of the paradise. The paradise of Adam, some gifts that the Holy Spirit gives us, or some characteristics of the glorious body. I know this is a perspective that's not very common, but I will try to make my point here. So, for instance, the internet has we are present everywhere with the internet. We have instant communications with any place of the world. And now through these gadgets that we can see through Google Meet or other Zoom or until a little time ago Skype, we can see the other person in the other part of the world. At the same moment that the person is there talking with us in a different time, of course. So, for instance, I give you an example. I was in my office in Montebello, and I could see with all the details the first appearance of Pope Leo XIV in the balcony of the Vatican. I could see in a position that practically nobody there in St. Peter's Square that traveled there to see him could not see. because only a few cardinals that are there in the same balcony could have the precision of vision that I was having, sitting here in Montebello. So in a certain way, I was bilocated to that balcony, having an advantage that nobody else there had but those 2 or 3 cardinals. To the point that I could see his face, his muscles changing, and I could see that he has a little emotional because this bone was going up and down in his neck. Meaning what? If I would have the gift of bilocation, I would perhaps be able to do this. But so the internet is giving me, or any one of us, one gift that very few saints have in history. But if in that same day I would touch my keyboard, I could go to France. And I could see in France a meeting of the President Emmanuel Macron having with other leaders in Europe. And I continue to be in my office. Then I touch a little more, and I can go to Ukraine, to the theater war, to see the problems that they're having there. So what is this? It's something that reminds us of the gift of agility. Agility was a gift that the glorious bodies will have after the resurrection. They can move from one place to another just with the movement of their mind. If you are talking about Paris, you can go to Paris after the resurrection, of course. But if you are talking about, our body, we subject to the role of our mind. This is the gift of agility of the glorious body. So the internet is giving us a mimicking of this gift that normally people don't consider this. But I'm trying to consider here with you today because I want to make my point. They are trying to make a kind of paradise for us here, and this was one of the advantages. We'll check the advantages afterwards. Another thing, we have access to all kinds of information. Before the internet, we had to have a course, a professor. Gradually, you have to have tests to show that you would be able to profess that discipline or to teach that discipline, or at least to have a permission to discuss this. Okay, I will have to have an encyclopedia or have to have a dictionary to know many things, or books of history. Today, anyone can touch whatever he wants at this moment. What did Alexander the Great when he was a child? And you have in 5 minutes also. Now with AI, you have in 5 seconds. So anything that you want to know without intermediary, you can have through the internet. It's a promise, this. We are democratizing information. You don't need any hierarchy in society. You don't need, if you wanted to know about economy, you can put there, and you comes the best opinions about economy. You don't need to leave your place. Meaning, it's a kind of, you can almost absolutely everything that you can go and search, and comes that information. I believe that this is a mockery of the infused science, a gift that Adam had in paradise. The difference is first that it was infused. This you have to see on a screen. And the other was a thing that you come from your heart or for your mind, and here you have to touch in the keyboard. But here you have another thing. You have agility, now you have infused science. Again, I'm not saying that is exactly, because it's a mockery. There are things that don't fit. Another point, translations. Today, if you put any text, can be in Chinese or can be in any language, that, including languages that are dead languages, you put a text, you have absolutely, in more or less minutes or seconds, you have the translation to the language that you want. It's not perfect yet, because I know because some friends in Brazil are translating things from English. And since I know, well, Portuguese, I see that the translation sometimes is not so good. So it needs to be combed. But we can see here another gift, that a gift of the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, that is the kind of being mimicking with these simultaneous translations of everything that we can do. Before you have to have an official translator, the translations have to be tested in a faculty, in a university, to have a permission to do this, and a company that would need to make a business with an Arabian country had to have a mandate to have a notary to say that he was translating according to the rules. Now it's not. You touch that, you have the translation immediately, you just need to comb a little, and that's it. What is this? Is the gift of languages. A gift that the apostles received when they received Pentecost. I'm not talking about the Pentecost movement, because the Pentecost movement is a caricature, because they speak a language nobody understands. It's the opposite of the apostles. They spoke their own language, and everybody understood. Here, the Pentecostal movement speaks a language that nobody understands in any. Needs a translation that normally is a charlatan that is telling what the other say. But again, the gift of the languages. Another curious thing, I'm not bringing this as a thesis that I want to prove in a university. I'm bringing this as a suspicion that I want you to consider, because the revolution doesn't want this to be known. Another thing, thanks to Mr. Zuckerberg, we have Facebook. So Facebook, each one can put there the picture that he wants about himself. Most of the time, let's suppose young ladies, they arrange the best picture that they can to put there because they want to be famous that way. But until then, to be famous, to have a picture published in a magazine, you have to be a celebrity. You have to either have a compromise with some secret forces that promote these people, or you have to have a lot of merit by yourself to be able to reach that level of fame. So including, for instance, the fame of sanctity. You have to have the fame of many people would talk about you. Well, here again, this fame that you can do whatever you want about yourself, you can explain to others, give the version of yourself that you want. This is a kind of mockery of the communion of saints. Because in heaven, every saint has a face, has a primordial light that he realized in this earth, in this life, and he is known because of this. So when we praise a martyr, we praise a martyr because he expresses that virtue. He defended in that virtue, for instance. Many of us here are the devotees of Santa Filomena. So she appears with an anchor because it's her face. Others appear with a cross. St. Andrew crucifies in a cross in shape of X. So it's his face. So when in heaven we approach a saint, he had that face, one Facebook, that the others started to approach him to talk and discuss things about God, glorify God, but they had one first approach. So I believe that I know that Facebook has many advantages for communications and to tell the other ladies that the cat is not passing well and needs to do this, a picture of a child. It's very good. But I'm talking more or less what is the kind of background perspective. So this is my point. Here, and so we have a little, the communion of saints that a little mark with the story of the Facebook. Now another point. I know some of you here that work from home. You are working from home because it doesn't make too much difference to go to your office, since you can do everything in your house. So it's a great advantage. You can buy anything. You can buy an apartment. You can buy a dress for a lady. You can make a trip if you want to make a trip, because you don't need to make a trip anymore. You can go to Google and visit all the cities that you want to visit with Google, and go exactly what you're doing in your pilgrimage. But let's suppose you can stay there and buy a ticket or buy whatever you want, stay in your office. You don't need to move anymore. I know that we move because we are human beings, so we move for many reasons. One is to attend this talk, but so we need to move. But there's this possibility for us to not move that was given to us if you want to do it. Now during COVID, we're obliged to not move. It was an experiment. Okay, what is this mockery of what? It's the mockery of immobility. God moves everything without moving. So there's something here that the revolution, or the inspirer of the revolution, that's the devil, wants us to start to have, mocking this immobility that God has. God doesn't need to move anything. He doesn't do it. He moves everything without moving. We have this. We say, well, it's very easy because I can buy a shoe and they deliver in my house. It's good. I do this. Sometimes we do this kind of things. But it's a behind of the scenes that we have. I'm trying to bring to you this suspicion. Another thing that's curious is that until some time ago, until the last stories of cell phones, we have to give a call, international call, was very expensive. I am from Brazil. I'm a Brazilian American citizen, but I was born in Brazil. I have many friends there. One is here, honoring with his presence here. Okay, I used to give talks to Brazil. It has to be save money before, and calculate exactly how long it would take, because a call to Brazil could be $200 if for 25 minutes, 30 minutes. Today you can talk with any part of the world all day long. You pay $0. You pay the price of your cell phone, period. Other things, Patrick just mentioned, we have meetings with Brazil, this kind of Google Meet, which is very useful for apostolate. We have these meetings, and the pattern is 2 hours. But sometimes people start to talk, and this goes to 2 hours and a half. There's no price at all. We pay $0. If I wanted to have 500 people talk with me, I pay $10 a month. I can talk with 500 people for 1 month all day. It's practically gratuity. Okay, what is gratuity again? Adam didn't pay for anything in paradise. He could have used everything that he wanted without paying anything. Again, gratuity. So these are things that the internet brings to us. And I wanted to bring this suspicious to you because I believe that the people that are behind this revolution, they have ideas that they want us to start to be accustomed to regarding extraterrestrial, regarding whatever energetic forms that they give the different names, but these are behind the internet, behind the AI. If you ask an expert to explain you exactly what the internet is, they say, I cannot explain because some parts we don't explain. We cannot explain scientifically. Okay. AI. This is the advantage of the AI. I'll go into the advantage of internet. I go the advantage of AI. President Trump, in the second or first day that his term, he announced with the three gentlemen there that he was starting a project called Stargate. This project of Stargate is to install AI in all the organs of the government as much as possible, as soon as possible.
Together, these world-leading technology giants are announcing the formation of Stargate, a new American company that will invest $500 billion in AI infrastructure in the United States and very, very quickly. Begin immediately, Stargate will be building the physical and virtual infrastructure to power the next generation of advancements in AI, and this will include the construction of colossal data centers.
This is the site of Project Stargate, a very mysterious, much talked about, much speculated about project that brings together OpenAI, SoftBank, Oracle. If it all comes together, building after building on this red dirt behind me will be filled with chips that'll power the AI revolution.
What we're undergoing right now is sort of the largest infrastructure build in human history. It's going to create new ways of doing business, it's going to create new ways of invention, and it's going to really drive humanity forward.
The whole thing is supposed to be done by mid-2026.
We're trying to deliver on, the fastest schedule that a 100 megawatt or greater data center has ever been built.
In this the same moment that he was launching the Stargate project, there are three men that were there. One was, of course, Trump, but besides Trump was Larry Ellison, that is the founder of a company called Oracle, and another gentleman called Sam Altman, that was the president of president of OpenAI. There are a third gentleman that is just a Japanese with a bank to put money. So Mr. Larry Ellison gave an example that is what I'm trying to address now. He said, he spoke there, with this project that we have with AI, we introduce a little cell in your body, and this cell will communicate with AI and will monitor every cell of your body and accuse any irregularity that can happen in your health. And he's saying this. And he says, for instance, there's a cell of cancer that is flying in your blood. This cell will catch this and communicate with AI, and in 48 hours we have a vaccine for you to counterattack that first initial manifestation of cancer.
The most exciting things we're working on, again, using the tools that Sam and Masa are providing, is a cancer vaccine. It's very interesting. It turns out, I'll be quick, all of our cancers, cancer tumors, little fragments of those tumors float around in your blood. So you can do early cancer detection. If you can do using AI, you can do early cancer detection with a blood test. And using AI to look at the blood test, you can find the cancers that are actually seriously threatening the person. So we can, again, cancer diagnosis using AI has the promise of just being a simple blood test. Then beyond that, once we gene sequence that cancer tumor, you can then vaccinate the person design a vaccine for every individual person to vaccinate them against that cancer. And you can make that vaccine, that mRNA vaccine, you can make that robotically, again using AI, in about 48 hours. So imagine early cancer detection, the development of a cancer vaccine for your particular cancer aimed at you, and have that vaccine available in 48 hours. This is the promise of AI and the promise of the future.
So, is a kind of dream. Because what is this? You can have a perspective that all the diseases will be finished. Well, he was clearly enthused with this, saying that it is one of the reasons that we can do. If you can do it, cancer can do it any other thing. So it's always an encouragement for us to receive this little chip in your whatever, wrist or whatever. So with this, what is the promise? We will not have diseases. We can spend our life as long as possible, and we can have to annul the consequences of original sin that we are having. That was the course of Adam when he sinned in paradise. So there's a clear perspective to annul this consequence of original sin. AI now. Another thing that now is Mr. Elon Musk, that is with his Neuralink, that he can introduce a cell not in your wrist, but in your mind, in your brain. And with this, he already introduced, and the experiment is already being done. So he's now talking about many other things that they can do. But this little cell, or little chip introduced in your brain, can you start to do everything that you do the internet without the keyboard? So instead of having the time to take the keyboard and say, go to see Pope Leo XIV, or go to President Macron, or go to Ukraine, I don't need this. I just make a movement in my mind, and I access the same thing.
We're thrilled to introduce Neuralink's PRIME study, the first clinical trial of a groundbreaking experimental device that could help transform the lives of people with paralysis. Imagine the joy of connecting with your loved ones, browsing the web, or even playing games using only your thoughts. This is made possible by placing a small, cosmetically invisible implant in a part of your brain that plans movements. The device is designed to interpret your neural activity so you can operate a computer or a smartphone by simply thinking about moving. No wires or physical movement are required.
This morning, Elon Musk announcing that for the first time, his company Neuralink has implanted a brain chip in a human. Musk saying the person is recovering well. Initial results show promising neuron spike detection.
There's not still, I cannot see my eye, but I can see in a screen. When I can see in a glass, there are already glasses that are being sold that can replace the screen for people that can access the internet just with his chip.
This is Meta Ray-Ban display. These are glasses with the classic style that you'd expect from Ray-Ban, but they're the first AI glasses with a high-resolution display. The display is large enough to watch a video or read a thread of messages. It appears in one eye, it's slightly off-center so it doesn't block your view. So for the glasses, we're replacing the keyboard, mouse, touchscreen, buttons, dials, with the ability to send signals from your brain with little muscle movements that the neural band will pick up so you can silently control your glasses with barely perceptible movements.
So again, what is this? You surpass the human nature, and you can become much more than intelligent, much more efficient than you are. So the promise that they say is, you become at least an angel. Again, so it's not promises. It's a utopia. We know that utopia. But I'm trying to emphasize what there is behind all this. So no original sin, become an angel. And there's a thing that's a little more macabre, but is already going on, is that you can download your consciousness to a computer. And you can imitate your voice. You know that because including, I follow the Vatican. I'm sorry, Mary, I'm cutting you off. That's communication because of Our Lady here. You download your consciousness to a computer. You download your voice. The Vatican, some days last week, I don't do precisely because sometimes the Vatican doesn't publish the issue of the day. So I had to read it, the old and new. It's a little complicated. But sometimes this last week, there's a warning saying the video is going on about Pope Leo XIV that's not true. It's what they call the deep fake.
Over the last few days, dozens of channels are coming out claiming that Pope Leo is banning the Latin Mass, getting rid of the rite of exorcism, getting rid of indulgences, and numerous other wild claims. But not only are they saying this, but some are even posting alleged audio of Pope Leo admitting all this.
Over these past months, since announcing the 12 transformative changes that will forever alter our beloved Catholic Church, my desk has been flooded with thousands of letters, emails, and messages from faithful Catholics around the world. You have questions, concerns, hopes, and yes, some fears about what these changes mean for your daily spiritual life today.
Is it deep fake? Meaning, you can have exactly the Pope saying whatever is the same figure, is still in film, but that he's saying with his own voice, with his own gestures, everything that someone else wants him to say. So, but returning, you have to have your conscience download, they have your voice, they have your ways of being, and they can have your hologram. The hologram is a virtual figure of yourself. They bring a hologram that is exactly like me here, and so there are two persons here speaking to you. You can say that I am not a hologram. I say hello, and shake your hands, but the hologram cannot shake your hands. But the rest is exactly the same. Well, this hologram can have the consciousness, your consciousness, can have your voice, can have your everything that you did in your life because they record this stuff. And so you have an alter ego that can live forever. That figure there can do exactly what you do, looking like you, that will be not you. So, what is this? It's a kind of mockery of eternity. I cannot have my time here. I don't want to bring too much, but there's some, I knew a great, just I'll say very quickly, that a great soprano, Maria Callas, famous. And there's a tale that she sold her soul to the devil because I cannot give guarantee that I don't have a proof, but anyways, everybody says this. She had her soul to the devil because the devil promised her that should be live forever. And when she was dying, she asked the devil, well, you told me that I will live forever, and I'm dying. It's no, you will live forever in tapes. Your voice is still forever in tapes. So it's a promise of the devil. You live eternally. But anyway, these are the advantages of the AI in the internet. I just remind you that many of these promises are related to the promise of the devil to Adam and Eve, that will be like God, you know everything. And so I want to bring your attention to this. I want now to go to disadvantage, because this mockery of devil, of paradise actually is a hell. So I'll go quickly, because I think that everybody more or less knows, to be able to reach a conclusion here. First, when they said we are independent, we can access any kind of information without intermediary, because the debate is the intermediary. No, having no intermediary. They are seducing our pride. You don't have intermediary, you can do anything without superior. Okay. Actually, when you enter this world of internet, cell phones, other things, you are receiving the intermediary of Google, Microsoft, Apple, and all kinds of other things that you have that are there in the background. And they are the intermediaries that you have to receive, to have now through them. So you don't have autonomy. You have the intermediaries saying what you can do or not, the police. All the private information that you put in these devices, Facebook, internet, videos, international videos, phone calls, everything that you say is being recorded. Everything that you say is being recorded. And they talk this for us looking like we are children. This goes to the cloud. There's no cloud. The clouds are farmers that they have in the desert. They are recording absolutely everything that you say. Each one of us, honest or dishonest, moral or immoral.
The view may be generic, but this is actually one of my favorite places in the world. Why? Well, I think it represents the most important infrastructure of the 21st century. This is a part of Microsoft's Columbia data center campuses. These house the computers that fuel our lives. There are more than 20 buildings, each large enough to house 2 commercial aircraft. They fill 2 million square feet. They're spread out over 300 acres. But what's really interesting is what's inside. It's something that almost no one ever gets to go see.
Because they making us do everything that we have to do through these devices. So right now, everything that you say, you don't need a Sherlock Holmes to find what you did. It's there. And through AI, they push a button, everything comes about you. So unfortunately, there are these things Facebook are using for many bad things, like trying to seduce other persons. And so I just remember young ladies that tries to appear in these or that dresses or no dress to seduce these or that people. All this is being recorded. And you say, well, this cannot be because we have a law about the privacy of correspondence. Okay. So you'll be a felony in California, at least, can go to jail. You can't go there and say, Google, I'll put you in jail. Okay. When you receive your cell phone or your computer, there's a contract there that has 50 pages that nobody can read. And in the end, you can say, I agree. So every application, app that you receive has a contract of 50 pages that you have to say, I agree, nobody reads. Even lawyers, very shrewd lawyers, They cannot read because this changes every 3 months. So you don't know, but you already agree with all this. So juridically, they are protected, but they have your information. Why they have the information? To control. So it's coming an enormous dictatorship of electronic that is being built in base of these farms. For instance, this project that I just mentioned, Stargate, is to build farms everywhere. Each one of these great companies is with enormous places in the desert to store everything that you are saying. You cannot have access. It's very well kept. Police don't have access. They have their own police. They have their own energy, and they are keeping all us under control. Another thing, they have their own agenda. You say, I can say anything that I want in the internet. They cannot say, you cannot attack homosexuality. You can attack, but you'll be have a censorship, or you'll have a punishment. TIA have already to change 2 servers because they told us, you attack homosexuality, you cannot deal with us. We don't give you a service. The FBI is there because we said that Judaism as a religion is not a Catholic religion. It's against Catholic religion. It was obvious, like you say, Protestantism, but we said Judaism. So we are classified as anti-Semitic. So we are considered a group of terrorists. By whom? By a man, organization whose man was caught in a terrorist activity, burning police departments during the Black Lives Matter. He was caught, he's in jail. He's the lawyer of Poverty Center. That's it. Okay. But so we don't have liberty. They have their own agenda. You believe that you are free, you are not free. But the worst part comes now, is the addiction. We have people that use these devices are become addicted to them. They cannot do anything else, business or read a book or communicate with friends. There's no more other communication. They're addicted. And this addiction is having a lot of consequences, which will go very fast in some of them. One is this destruction of social life. We go, sometimes we see scenes of family. They are around the table. When they are around, the family is still around. And everybody uses a cell phone, texting or doing something else. When you have a conversation, it's occasional now to know how is the best way to do this in that application. Well, so social life is being destroyed. We're becoming tribal in social life. There's no more relationship. The youth is losing the sense of reality with all these games. I realize that there are games making by Disney, others, I don't know. We have the joy of have some young people who work with them. And there are many games that are about the creation of the universe. So we know that God created the universe, but many of these people belong to the universe, believe that the universe was created by 5 stones. When I thought, what is this here? So another people that are playing think they believe now it's created by something else. So they are losing the sense of reality.
Before creation itself, there were 6 singularities. Then the universe exploded into existence, and the remnants of these systems were forged into concentrated ingots. Infinity stones. These stones, it seems, can only be brandished by beings of extraordinary strength. Observe. These carriers can use the stone to mow down entire civilizations like wheat in a field. Once for a moment, a group was able to share the energy amongst themselves, but even they were quickly destroyed by it.
Losing the sense of reality, they stayed all day in that story. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, but if I'm not mistaken, what I know about the definition of autism, right? The autism is to live inside of his own bubble. He doesn't care more about the external reality. He's a boy or a girl, or whatever. They live there, and they cannot. That doesn't have a sense for them. The reality is out. No, you are old people. You don't know what.
It's a familiar sight in households around the world. Children being entertained and placated by technology. But this is also familiar. Monumental meltdowns when the devices are taken away. They're reactions that are in fact symptoms of one of the major medical challenges of our time, what's being called internet addiction disorder. And it has mental health experts worried about children and their parents' actions.
They would be playing every single day, and they would be late for school, and they wouldn't do homework, and they would become sort of aggressive and throw tantrums and that sort of thing if they'd played for ages and ages.
What were the kids like if you tried to turn off the Xbox or take away the tablet?
Yeah, well, that's tantrum city then.
The bad moods and the tantrums are almost like withdrawal symptoms.
Correct.
Do you agree with that?
I agree, totally, yeah.
So they have a sense of losing the sense of reality. They are becoming ignorant of the language because the keyboard is very small to type all the letters. So they are simplifying the words. In many words that for generations, I'm a 79, so I'm probably would be grandfather of many of people here. But people that are 40, they cannot communicate more because they, what is to laugh aloud? So we want to say, LOL. For me, it's Chinese. For them, is LOL. You, that's you. You means you.
It's a true honor to be here at Westtown High School for Languages Week. Your school invited me to give a guest lecture about the importance of learning languages, but it occurred to me that all of you are already, in some sense, multilingual, whether you realize it or not. And that's because you speak the Gen Alpha dialect of English, a language so distinct that I, an aging 34-year-old millennial, genuinely cannot understand it. Or at least couldn't understand it before I spent weeks immersed in TikTok videos studying your dialect to partial fluency. And because nothing drives home the importance of learning languages better than hearing someone else try to speak your own, I'm going to try to deliver the rest of this speech in your very own native tongue. Gen Alpha. It's low-key a huge W to be vibing here at Westtown High School for Languages Week. But chat, let's lock in. Bro came prepared. Now, I know it's giving to Lulu for this chuggy boomer to speak in such skibbity brain rot, but if you'll bear with me, I'll put the fries in the bag in just a second. I do actually have a message here.
So the sense of language is going down. And it's becoming the language of, when I was a boy, I would go to movies of cowboy, and always the Indians would speak in a language that's very primitive. Always in infinitive.
Plain to see how you got your name.
You big shoulders. Young one, he who follows.
You speak pretty good American. For a Comanche. Someone teach you?
Tisha. Beneye. Belakana kwe.
So they are becoming ignorant of the language. Another thing that is tragical is that the span of attention is diminishing very, very fast. So before TIA at 23 years, where published articles of 1,000 words was a great audience. Now we have to have young people translating these articles that we continue to publish 1,000 words for things of 1 minute, a video of 1 minute, or just a message, a tweet, or there is no more tweet, X. It cannot be more than 30 words or whatever, because the level of attention is diminishing in a very, very tragic way. Well, here we have more or less the consequences of these two things, internet and AI. Another thing that I want to bring to your attention is that we are becoming very familiar with robots. So you call, you bank, and say, but this and this and this, click here, click there, do you know the answer is this? Is there a machine that there are answers to it? This familiarity of robots prepares for the AI. Now, I leave aside two aspects of the internet that I prefer to not discuss here because they are so evident. One is pornography. No paradise. It's hell. What is coming is hell. The easiness with the youth and anyone else goes to pornography is incredible. Another is nobody talks about this, or just some doctors, experts, is radioactivity. This little device that we have here, they produce a lot of radioactivity and produce a lot of damaging ladies in parts of the body that are here. And other people, in not my opinion, we have studies about this. Now, I'm going to the disadvantage of the AI. And I know that's not a light subject, but this is what we have to add the concerns of Catholics. So we are facing, in a very short time, the problem of automation. Automation of what? Automation of factories, automation of the organs of the government, automation of the fields.
This is the world's most advanced e-commerce warehouse, run entirely by AI robots. This entire operation is managed by 48 Bright-Pick auto picker robots. And these robots, they handle everything from replenishing inventory to robotically picking orders and getting them ready for dispatch. And that's how this facility, operated by leading sports nutrition retailer, The Feed, is able to work 24/7 and pick 50,000 items per day, all while just using a handful of actual people. That's right. This is the future of e-commerce fulfillment.
With this, especially the automation of the factories and the governance, the parts of the governance, what is comes after? Comes after no more jobs, unemployment in mass. I'm not saying this. This, for instance, is what these two prophets of this. One is Yuval Harari, another is the Elon Musk. This is a great problem that we have is what to do with people that will be jobless.
Again, I think that the biggest question maybe in economics and politics of the coming decades will be what to do with all these useless people. I don't think we have an economic model for that. My best guess, which is just a guess, is that food will not be a problem. With that kind of technology, you will be able to produce food to feed everybody. The problem is more boredom and what to do with them, and how will they find some sense of meaning in life when they are basically meaningless, worthless. My best guess at present is a combination of drugs and computer games.
So let's consider one thing. All the great cities are made after the Industrial Revolution. because the factories need a lot of workforce to produce what they had. So with the workforce, there's an exodus from the fields to the cities, Europe, London, here, United States. You have New York, all the immigration, whatever. So now, with this automation, will be the opposite. The great cities with automation are condemned to death because you don't need more. You have a robot that does exactly what the man does. So what you do, as long as your government wants to give you some stipend, you can have. If they don't want to give you are at your own disposal. You do whatever you want. So probably this will bring a lot of exodus from the cities to the fields again, for the woods, for the deserts, wherever. What kind of social structure will come from there? We don't know. We believe that is a kind of tribalism en masse. You have another problem of the automation. Another thing that you have is at the moment that you introduce something in your body, let's say, according to Mr. Larry Ellison, that wants to put a chip to check the health of each one of us, if they can control here and can put in our body from that cell something that you help your heart to beat in the right moment, or can help your liver to do this and this, why cannot do the opposite? If it's to regulate the beat of the heart, instead of being less, they can put a lot more, and you are dead. So at the moment that you give this, you are giving power of life or death for these people. At the moment that you put a chip in your brain, you are becoming what they call the cyborg, a mixture between a machine and a man. In old times, we call this a Frankenstein. Today, we call a great progress of mankind. Okay, so these are the paradise that we are being invited to. This is a paradise that they are inviting us to go. So let's see what did Eve in paradise and what she should have done if she would be faithful. Eve was playing with the serpent, which before was a very charming animal. And the ladies know this. They are very charming to play with some animals that are special. They know how to bring the attention of ladies. So she was playing that. I'm saying this because there are some revelations that say this. They're playing, the animals jumping here and there, very charming animal. More or less like an otter that is very playful, an animal very playful, but small and longer. So he had legs and jump here and there. So imagine this, if they're playing with this animal, and the animal goes and jumps in a tree and says, "Eat from the tree, and you'll be like God." And she said, "Oh." And you know the story. Unfortunately, we know very well the story. But what she should have done, she should have said, "Animals don't talk." Animals don't talk. So who is behind you? She knew that the devil was there because they didn't have original sin. So she fell in a lack of logic. There's a proportion between cause and effect that she was not vigilant to catch. And we should be vigilant to catch. because a machine cannot do what they are preparing to us to accept. These machines cannot do. Machine is a thing made by man. A machine cannot tell you that you become more than a man. You become like God. Excuse me, machine. I made you. Who is behind you here? Machines don't have this capacity of intelligence. And they are saying that not only the artificial intelligence is already more intelligent than us, but the general artificial intelligence will be like an angel or will be like a God, to replace God. So my conclusion for this part is that let's see what Eve should have done, and she did. She did not. So let's not fall for this promise, this paradise, and let's look what a man can do and a man cannot do, and not follow in this new promise that will be like God. Now I promise in 5 minutes to finish the author. Too far. And I have to turn the page and change completely the subject, because we are now in general depression. So prepare to gallop now. According to Professor Plinio, we fall in TIA and the other groups in the world. We follow the idea that there is a process of centuries-old process that we call revolution. This process came from the Middle Ages to destroy the Christendom in the Middle Ages. That was a reflection of God. Because of this, a group of men that we call secret forces, we do not give other names, they planned to destroy. From there to this day, this process is being followed like a chronometer. Everything that needed to happen, it did happen. So this process was humanism, Renaissance, Protestantism, French Revolution, communism, then the Cultural Revolution or Hippie Revolution or Sorbonne Revolution, and the last step that's coming is called tribalism. The other revolutions became very old, meaning the Second Revolution, that is, the French Revolution, is old, needs to go, another stage needs to come. It's not communist, it's more than communist, it's a communism tribal. Well, we part from this presupposition that's a group. If you wanted to go deep down, this is a race called the race of the serpent. I'm not a racist who would say this is God. When God, the serpent, made Eve fall, God told her, I put enmity between you and her offspring. And your offspring is hers, and she will destroy, smash her head. Okay, I'm talking about this race, a race of the serpent. These people are always there doing the opposite of God wants and the opposite of what Our Lady wants, and will be destroyed by him. So our presupposition is this. The next step is tribalism. What is the obstacle for tribalists to win in the war? Is a place called United States of America. It's long to prove this. I will not prove. I'm just using. This is the perspective. United States of America is condemned to death. Cannot be if the revolution continues, and it will continue until the end. United States has to go, because the United States represents the second revolution: equality, fraternity, and liberty. It has to go. They are old already. The revolution is preparing the United States to go. How the United States go? Through Americans. Through how the church is being destroyed? Through popes. So what better thing can be for the United States than have a pope, a temporal pope? Not, I'm talking about Leo XIV. I'm talking about great capitalists that want to destroy. Anyway, how to destroy? The experts, I'm not an expert, I'm repeating, it's a very short summary. They say there are three plagues that can destroy a country, economic plagues. One is inflation, the second is recession, and the third is depression. With all these movements that I don't discuss if it's good or not, of our present government, all these ups and downs and tariffs here and putting there, all the war that you say that they call the war of tariffs. A man that I'm not, I have to take his name here because I'm not familiar with this, Larry Fink, that is the CEO of BlackRock. BlackRock is the top of the top of the top. It's not because depending on banks. It's because BlackRock owns banks. This man, Larry Fink, who is an American, he said, United States already entered a recession. I don't want to enter details here because it's what is everything. But meaning we don't have more the things to provide, the things that we need to be provided for the people. Well, so we have here the process. The United States has to go through what? Through a Great Depression. If it's the case, is what we can be seeing, is the background of our situation right now. And so if United States doesn't go according to this plan of the enemies of the Christendom, the same people is one man, Maestro used to call, or is the same cenacle of people. They will push the button. World War III. And World War III will come with all the confusion of a war. They will impose what they imposed after World War I, and what after World War II. So, unfortunately, it's not an optimistic perspective. The optimistic perspective will come with Dr. Marian Horvath. Let's just talk about the devotion of Our Lady. With this, I have my talk done, and Viva Cristo Rei.